Managing partners are getting AI sold non-stop. Lawyers are piloting 5 tools at once. Your systems don't talk to each other, and there's compliance risks everywhere. You don't need another tech guy telling you how to be a lawyer. This video shows one low-risk pilot that pays for itself in 30 days, stays inside your ethical guardrails, and gives you a defensible paper trail for your malpractice insurer or the regulator. Stick around, we'll run the hour and dollar math you can screenshot and show at your partner meeting. I'm Rok, founder of MPL Legal Tech Advisors, and I bring AI compliance frameworks from billion-dollar finance to small law firms and in-house teams. So you get the big firm safety without the big firm headache. Let's first talk about what most firms get wrong when they try to do AI right. You're constantly being pitched the platforms that do it all. And that sounds great, until it means migrating half of your workflow, retraining everyone, and just hoping that adoption happens. That's not a pilot, that's a gamble, and you're the one covering the losses. Define success before the technology enters the discussion. Name one step and one role. For example, which non-legal judgment task is bleeding time every week from a paralegal or an associate? I spoke with a managing partner of a 27-person law firm, and they started with timekeeping. Not because it's not innovative, but it's a universal time leakage. They calculated that their lawyers were losing 1 to 1.5 hours a day by forgetting to enter their time. And that pilot recovered their hours without changing how they worked. To give you something you can act upon, here's a 10-minute pilot test. Pick one role, intake, paralegal, associate. Pick one step, time entry, intake summary, exhibit naming, and then write the 30-day metric you'll judge. Reduce the time for manual entry by 60% or recover 1 hour a day per fee earner. And if you cannot fill those blanks, you're not ready to pilot yet. If you do this right, you'll get a pilot that will pay for itself and increase the captured time and cash flow. Mistake number 2 is piloting without any safeguards. Because try and see is not a pilot. That's a shadow AI, without any scope, logs, or supervision. That's exactly how you end up with undefendable use under your duty of confidentiality and your duty to supervise. So do this instead. Here's the 6 guardrails of a defensible pilot. First, you scope the boundary. What's in and what's out. Name the roles, matter types, and document categories that the tool can touch. Everything else is out. Second, how the data is being treated. DPA signed, no training on your data, processing of the data restricted to a specific jurisdiction, retention below 30 days, and delete on demand. 3. Human review. Who signs it off? AI outputs are suggestions and not filings. A named supervising attorney must approve before anything leaves your firm's walls. Logging. What you can prove. Exportable logs of who, what, when, plus versioned outputs. Keep them 12 months in your matter file. Time box. Determine when it ends. 30-day pilot, criteria defined upfront, such as hours recovered, acceptable error rates, and the adoption. Kill switch, how to stop. And how that looks is one responsible attorney must have a way to disable the access immediately if things go wrong. The law firm I mentioned before, they set their guardrails, which were editable entries, weekly partner variance review, exportable logs, DPA signed, no training, jurisdiction limitations, no client docs, the tool could process the metadata only, a 30-day pilot, and a one-click kill switch. Now that's a pilot with supervision and an audit trail you can show to your insurer or the regulator. Now they have defendable usage, clarity for the team, and real metrics on what's working. And a pro tip, if it's not logged, it didn't happen. And mistake number 3, testing without the evidence. 3 months of vendor demos, presentations, meetings that go nowhere, email back and forths, all that translates to no decisions, no savings, and increasing risk. A proper AI pilot is scoped to solve one visible bottleneck in your workflow, and that's it. Now here's what a defensible 30-day pilot looks like, with 3 checkpoints and 0 ambiguity. On day 1, you deploy and train your team, and you start logging everything. Day 15, you'll audit the adoption, you'll review the compliance logs, and if anything looks off, you'll kill the pilot immediately, because you don't want any risk. On day 30, you'll run the numbers. If the numbers are positive, and if your compliance logs are clean, you'll roll it out. If not, terminate and document. You want full control and full defensibility. Now screenshot this timeline and show it to your partner. This timeline is part of a defensible AI pilot starter kit you can download below, and it's fully customizable for your firm. So on day 30, you can evaluate your pilot. And there's just one scoreboard that matters, and it has two simple calculations. Let me walk you through them. In part 1, we'll stop the bleeding of the billable hours you're losing. Now let's run this for a 10-person law firm. Let's say that the number of lawyers in the firm is 10. Their rate is $250 an hour. Let's be conservative and let's say they lose 0.8 hours per day per lawyer. And the enterprise version that gives us the full privacy that we want is $200 per person. Now, how much money vanishes every week? Let's take a look at this. So 10 times 0.8 times $250 times 5 is $10,000 a week. That's just gone. Step 2. Let's see how much we can actually recover in a month. So 10,000 times 4 times 60%. That's $24,000 a month. Now, let's address those 60% here. Why 60%? Because in real world, not every lawyer adopts instantly. There's always a learning curve, some onboarding friction, and some resistance. Industry data and my experience showed that 60% is a realistic recovery rate in month 1, and not the vendor's fantasy of 100%. This keeps your numbers honest and defensible in any kind of partner or insurer meeting. Step 3. How much does the tool cost? Let's see. $200 per user times 10 users, that would be $2,000 a month. And then what's our net gain here after we pay for the tool? Well, expected back was $24,000 and the tool cost is $2,000. We're profiting here $22,000 a month. Now this is your partner meeting number. You can screenshot that. And how fast does it pay for itself? So 2,000 divided by 24,000 divided by 20 realistic working days in a month, and we get to 1.7 days. Not months, not quarters, days. Moving to part 2, which is the extra billable hours you can actually use. So that's the added value here. You're not just recovering the lost hours, you're also creating new capacity. So our total hours saved per week is 40, and then the percentage of that realistically allocated to client work would be 40%, and our average billable hourly rate would be $250. So if we calculate this, that would be 40 times 40, and that would be 16 hours a week. And where does this 40% come from? Not every hour saved becomes billable time. Some goes to training, admin, and well-deserved breaks. Industry benchmarks show us that typically, in legal, 30 to 50% of efficiency gains get reallocated back to client work. We use 40% because it's realistic and conservative. Again, making your projects defensible to partners, insurers, or regulators. Next calculation, how much is that worth per month? So we set 16 times $250 times 4, that would be 16,000 per month. Let's fill out the total monthly value now. We have 16,000 of new capacity. Summing these two gives us 38,000 total value per month. That would be after our $2,000 monthly cost. That would mean breaking even in 1.7 days. Download the Defensible Pilot calculator below. Plug in your numbers. If your pilot doesn't pay for itself within 30 days, shut it down. If it does, let that fund your next 2 projects without adding any headcount or risk. Okay, let's recap and go over the 4 ingredients of a pilot that pays for itself. If you take one thing out of this video, let it be this. You don't need a massive investment to make AI useful for your firm. You just need a surgical application of AI for your situation. Let's summarize quickly. First, you need to audit your processes. Find where AI is already showing up, what data it touches, and where you're leaking hours. Output of this stage should be a one-page document of tools already in use, data risks, and 2 to 3 candidates. Step 2 is train and contain. Policies and training should come before buying and using tools. Define what's allowed, what's banned, and who has to review it. You need clear guardrails. AI use allowed for drafts only. Countersigned DPAs are a must. You need to have the delete on demand option, exportable logs, and guaranteed no model training. Step 3, pilot one use case. Pick one bottleneck with a 30-day payback. For example, time capture. Keep your systems and platforms and don't migrate anything. Define the scope, one department you're going to test that with. You don't want any new dashboards, and you want it reversible in 1 day. And last, track, validate, and repeat. You need to decide based on evidence and not promises. You need a day 30 scorecard. Adoption percentage, hours recovered, dollars realized, the tool's error rate, and the tool's net gains. What you want is not a proof of concept, you want a proof of value, and that it doesn't put your client's trust at risk. If this helped you avoid AI compliance and waste spent nightmare, here's what to do next. First, grab the defensible AI pilot starter kit down below. It proves your investment to your partners and it keeps you compliant towards your regulators. Second, if you need clarity on hidden risks, if you need help with improving your processes, and if you need a strategy how to go about all of this, book a free legal AI consultation with me and we'll get you actionable insights specifically for your case. Link is in the description. If you found this valuable, subscribe for practical trainings, case studies, and frameworks on where AI can really support legal work and where it can't. What's your biggest AI concern right now? Let me know in the comments below and see you in the next one.